One of the things we're asked to do is to make a multilingual terminology database of at least 10 items. So I'm going to show you a way to do that now. You need to look at your page, the page you've chosen, and identify the words you want to work on. So I'm going to work here. I'm going to take this word, raised, as the first word, and I'm going to take some other words I've got here. Request show and magazine show. Put those three in first. Now I'm going to put those words into an empty notepad document. This is in fact in Linux, and it's a gedit document. It's a text document. It's not a word processor document. So you want to be working in the libreta block de notas of Windows, for example. So we've got these words: raised, magazine, show, and request show. Then the other words that I'm going to use from my page are for example released here, and I'm going to have axed here. So released and axed, and I've got some other words which are from the page as well, which I'm just going to type in without showing you where they are. Sponsorship and EP and record label, and I think with one more that will be enough. And the other one is going to be release as a noun. Okay, now I'm going to put the translation of these terms that I'm going to use in Spanish. Now, of course, this will depend on the context, and you need to look and investigate to find out what is the best option for you. And you need to use your internet resources and skills to find the best translation if you can't think of it yourself. And then you can save the terminology database in a document, in a spreadsheet, in a word processing document, but I'm going to save it in this text document here, and I'm going to use what's called a tab separated format, which is very common. So all I'm going to do here is I've got the original text, and then I'm going to put a tab, and then I'm going to write the translation in Spanish in this case. So raised is educada o criada, o que pasó su infancia. Let's see, criada. So, okay. Magazine show, tab. Magazine show is magazine is what they say in Spanish. It's a kind of TV show, which is a kind of container. Has a variety of other things going on. They could be interviews, news items, the weather forecast, special features. So magazine de la televisión. Es posible. A request show is a music show on the radio. So let's call that programa de música This is a kind of show where people ring and ask for records. Released is publicó, as in publicó o lanzó un disco. Axed is this. We need to know if it's a verb or a participle here. The show was axed. Descontinuado, I think, or discontinuado. Descontinuado, quizás. Descontinuado. Alongside is al lado de. Sponsorship is patrocinio. EP, extended play, is in Spanish usually EP. Record label is discográfica, which is short for compañía discográfica, and release is disco or canción or número. When you talk about a release, a record release, we could call it disco because it could be a compact disc as well. That's fine. And now I'm going to save this database, this terminology database. I'm going to save it as let's see if I can make this dialogue a bit smaller so we can see it here. I'm going to save it in the wiki tutorials, which is inside my video folder here, and I'm going to call it terms meiner William, and I'm going to put it ENES and dot. I'm going to call it UTF-8, which is actually this is the encoding I'm going to use, and the line ending in my case can be Linux, but if you're working in Windows, that can be Windows. So UTF-8 and the file extension UTF-8. So I'm going to save that. Okay, that's the terminology.